Dear Dad, I'm sorry I didn't listen to you. When I was 4, I fell into the deep end of the pool because I was running along the side. I had to be saved by the lifeguard. When I first learned to drive, I was badly injured because I was not wearing a seatbelt when I got into a serious car accident. I had to be sent to the hospital and saved by the doctor. Oh, how you scolded me and told me to always be aware of my safety. But I didn't listen. And there was no one to tell me to check my equipment and the machinery before using it on that fateful day. I'm sorry, Dad, and I just wish I had the chance to tell you how proud I was to be your son before it was too late.
India, a country of 1.2 billion people, one person dies every 6 minutes involved in road accidents. 10 people are injured in the same time frame. Let's see what we have done to ourselves and our colleagues lately. Hi, my name is Sanjay Yadav. I am married and have got kids at home. I have been driving since 5 years and had recently joined Linfox. Joining Linfox and wearing its uniform was one of the most proudest moments of my life. I made a mistake while driving and am facing the consequences. Safety is something which cannot be compromised at any moment. I request all my fellow drivers to drive safely and take rest at regular intervals during a long trip. Remember, safety is equally important for everyone. Hi, I am Raghunath. I have been working in logistics industry for 13 years but never came across a company which cares so much about its people. I have learned a lot about safety in the last 12 months that I have been involved with Linfox. I met with a road accident some time ago and was out of work. I had broken my left shoulder. The look of my wife and children seeing me injured is something which I will never forget. That is something which I never ever want to witness in life again. I believe safety is just not at work but at home as well. Safety will always be my responsibility.
When I get questioned about safety in India, what probably is striking to me is that India is no different than any other country that we operate in. The expectations about Vision Zero are no different for an Indian employer or contractor as it is for an Australian employer or contractor. And that's probably quite surprising when we talk about or compare our business across the Asia Pacific. When I started in India, the things that stand in mind are probably the road fatalities. It's a very tough environment in terms of to operate on the roads. The infrastructure that we deal with is suboptimal, and the people driving standards are just not to where one would expect and hope for a country that is putting on so many vehicles every year. In my first year here, 135,000 people died on the roads, which is one of the highest in the world, and now last year the recent results is 160. So that's a phenomenal change in fatalities and impacts on people's lives, and obviously that excludes injuries as well. From our own personal perspective, that Linfox has been involved in fatalities over the last 3 years, either directly with 2 of our drivers or indirectly through subcontractors or in third party. So it's a real challenge to ensure that our people arrive home safe from the end of shift, or in India a lot of our shifts or trips go for 10 to 12 days, so which is again very... The biggest challenge for safety coming from an Australian perspective is the fact that we're instigating standards that are such a leap from what the current statutory standards are or what the expectations of the community are. So it's like in certain circumstances, from a safety perspective, going into Australia in 1970 and advising our parents back then to start wearing seatbelts front and back, or when drink driving rules were introduced. They're the type of standards that Linfox is expecting us in 2011, but based on the community standards, they're probably 30 years behind. And that's quite challenging when you're trying to tell a person to come to work to Linfox's rules when the rest of the community is not working to those rules. And that puts conflict within the employee about how to operate within the guidelines of what everyone else is doing versus what their employer wants them to do. And therefore the linkage to that is where my responsibility comes in, is around the hearts of the employees. So we can tell them the reasons why they should do it, which is the minds, but the hearts of why they should do it. And that's where we link to the fact that we want to go home safely to their kids, to their wives, or to their husbands in terms of what we're trying to do. So that's the key linkage that we're trying to develop in India. Vision Zero can become a reality, but the first thing it starts with yourself, that you believe in Vision Zero about, and it's 2 points again, about the heart and the mind, that you care for your co-workers, so that you believe that you want them to be safe as well. And the third thing I think is very strong is that there's no grey. As Mick said in safety, there's no grey. It's either right or it's wrong. And we have to be very vigilant about that, and we just can't accept greys or errors of judgment because it costs people lives.
Safety is my responsibility.
I've been closely working with Linfox for 2.5 years. Safety is a paramount to Linfox and will always remain to be. This place is special for me as this place cares for its people and their family. Safety is not only our responsibility but it's my responsibility. Let's make it happen, guys.